Hello there, fellow summoners. Mad Dog HT here, and just going back through, I have a few more Act 7.1 quests to upload that I got away from. Got a few left, and this is in 7.1.6, the last quest. Going over to the left, where we have this Cosmic Wrath lane. It has the indestructible, the feedback one. What is it called? We're going to see here in just a second. Destructive feedback, Impatience, SmallArm. So the destructive feedback, basically my strategy for dealing with that is trying to, if I can't fully evade their special 1 or 2, I'm just be very cautious of that. Don't push them to that special, because if you do a lot of damage and they do that special and you have to block anything, then you're going to get wrecked. So this was my first attempt going into this. I was thinking Surfer would be pretty decent. He's a pretty decent option just for Darkhawk in general. He can get the vigilance buff to avoid those auto blocks, which I do not take advantage of in this fight. And the other thing is, while Surfer is a decent option for Darkhawk, the thing that you have going for you in this lane in general is that Impatience node, where if you have a buff that is random as to when it gets applied and it fails, then you have a high chance to get a Fury buff triggered instead. So Silver Surfer, all of his buffs that he gains are not random, and they are guaranteed. So when you do a heavy, when you do special attacks, you are guaranteed to get those buffs. So you won't ever see those extra Fury buffs in this fight. You know, thinking back, I think just in general, from when I played this, I think I would have used Hyperion more. But you can see, like, I messed up at the beginning, I mess up right there, and yeah, so here I'm like not pushing to his L1, because you can fully evade it, the L1, although it's very difficult. I have personally, I don't think I've ever done it. I can do like the last 2 beams. I usually just try to dex out of the last part of the beam, but because I cannot comfortably and reliably fully dex the L1, when he goes into that destructive feedback right there, that yellow orange shield buff icon, basically any damage you do, if they touch you while in that phase, all of that damage is being stored up and it gets reflected back to you. So basically I'm just trying to do quick damage while that shield is down, and then kind of be passive and make sure that he's, you know, under a bar of power before I start attacking again. So I am hitting him here because his L2, you can just kind of get out of range of it and then just kind of dance around, not get hit. I am going to solo this fight. Granted, it's not the cleanest. I did take some significant damage, but Silver Surfer, he does get the job done, and I just barely miss killing him, get the destructive feedback up. I'm going to wait that out, and then we're going to kill him on this next combo, and he goes down. So definitely not the cleanest there, but Silver Surfer, he works. He doesn't get all that extra fury and whatnot. I also brought Angela for this path, thinking that she could be good. And she's okay. She's kind of like Darkhawk, or not Darkhawk, Silver Surfer. She does okay, but she doesn't really shine in any of these because the activations of her buffs are as well. I believe they're all guaranteed. So basically, when you're under a bar of power, you get an armor up. While you're above a power, bar of power, you get the fury, and then you get the crit, I think, when you're 2 bars and above, and then the aptitude when you're at 3 bars. And so I'm not getting any extra furies or anything like that, because it's not there's no possibility for the random chance that they don't get triggered, and that's when those furies get triggered. And you know, as far as Gambit goes, me preferably I would push him to his L2, because you can just kind of get out of range of it, and the timing isn't as critical as the L1. I can easily evade the L1, and you'll see I'll evade both many times in this fight. But yeah, I mean, basically just you don't want to get touched, and if you happen to block something and be late, you can take some pretty significant damage back. And yeah, but Angela, she does okay. This is only a rank 1 Angela, unawakened. She doesn't have a ton going for her. She does get the Cosmic Wrath Fury. It's like 125% Fury. She gets the 6-star Fury as well. So that's what those passive ones are there for. So she's hitting pretty decent for a rank 1 6-star. I think this is going to take like 100 hits though, which isn't, you know, great. But as far as like my Cosmic Champs, it's kind of one of my weaker classes when I was doing this run originally, like the week that the 7.1 came out. And this is kind of who I threw together. I do have Corvus, but because Corvus wasn't there wasn't any random buffs that he could get the extra furies, I kind of just left him off the team and was just trying something else. But Corvus, I mean, he could do okay. Nothing special outside of his normal abilities. And here we got a Warlock. You know, Warlock is just annoying because if you have willpower, whenever he triggers an L1 or an L2, he's going to apply the shocks or the armor breaks, and if he has infection up, you're going to be healing, therefore you're going to get heal blocked, therefore you're going to get power drained and degen, because this is an awakened Warlock. And yeah, it just gets kind of ugly. And so on this fight, you know, this does have small arms, so you're going to notice, like, when I'm doing my heavies, I'm not getting a lot of damage, because the damage is reduced for every heavy that you do. I think it's almost nothing, or very, very, very little. I missed the dex on the end of that L1. But the nice thing about Hyperion for this whole lane is that when you heavy, you know, you have that RNG chance to get a Fury. And oftentimes, you know, you might get 1, you might get 2. Well, with the Impatience buff, basically you're getting a Fury on every single hit, because if it happens to be RNG on your side and it succeeds, you get the Fury. Great. If it happens to fail, it's like an 80% chance for another Fury to get activated from the Impatience node. So like, you're pretty much guaranteed, it's like a 5-hit heavy if I remember right, to get 5 Furies on every heavy, which is awesome. And then you just need to get some big specials off. And one thing that I did is I went to L3, got the L3, got my Cosmic passives up. I'm hitting pretty decent, and I'm making sure I push them to L2 while I'm in this destructive feedback, because I can fully evade the L1, but you know, sometimes it's just easier to block it. But what I think at the end of this fight, or it's another fight, I think the strategy that is best for Hyperion is to do a lot of heavies, build up to Furies, and then just spam special 1. And then just make sure you're managing the destructive feedback so that you don't get touched, because the Incinerates with all of the Furies up, it gets pretty nutty. And you're going to notice here, it's probably the next fight where I get some heavies and stuff off, because I think after this destructive feedback is going to wear off, he's going to die from all of the damage stored up. But I do get some like L1s off with massive amounts of Furies, which just makes the incinerate damage get pretty crazy. Yeah, I think it's, yeah, this Thor Ragnarok fight, I think, if I remember right, I burned this guy to the ground towards the very end. Hyperion's really good for this fight in general, just because you can have a special attack pretty much ready whenever you want, because you have that power gain, and you know you do need to manage his hit counter on that power gain. Once it gets to 20, you want to make sure you throw a special, otherwise he's going to get that passive power gain. It's going to stay around. Possibility of him shooting to L3, and that's going to basically kill you. He's pretty willing to throw L1s. That's just kind of Thor Ragnarok's AI. And so yeah, you're gonna see you can build up a ton of furies. Got 10, and now we got destructive feedback on. I'm gonna kind of just wait this out a little bit, because I do need to hit him to the 20th hit and then throw a special, and I want that special 3 to activate. So here I think I'm gonna do a combo and then activate that power gain, and we're gonna turn it off. But yeah, Hyperions are really good for, I think, pretty much anyone on this lane, even the Killmonger, because you do have access to the armor break with the L2. But yeah, I think so. Here's 5 Furies, and you can see 865 a tick on those incinerates, and we get pushed to an L2 with our power gain. Turn off his power gain. We got 10 Furies, and I think I throw another L1, 8 Furies, and these are going for 1100 a tick, and he's just melting, and he dies. So Hyperion's really good for this lane. Other champs in the Cosmic lane, let me think about this. I know Drax is decent. The original Captain Marvel is decent, just because like on every hit they have a chance to go get a Fury. And so if they don't get it, then you're going to get a Fury from the Impatience node pretty much. On this Punisher, I went in with Angela, and she does okay. I think I end up dying towards the very end. I get heal blocked a lot. I forgot about that with Punisher. And this guy, you know, I don't know how to fully evade his special 1 or special 2. I know you can like dex evade out the first part and the last part to minimize some damage. I'm going to do that. I think one time I try to dex out the last part, and I think I get clipped. So I think Angela could take this fight down. I just mess up. I'm trying to think of who else. Like Awakened Black Bolt would be good. Gamora would be awesome. I didn't have a Gamora. She would get a lot of Furies. Who else? Who else has a chance to activate buffs? Ronan would be really good. He would get a lot of Furies. I think maybe Superior Iron Man with his armor ups. And does he get a Fury? I can't remember if he gets a Fury or not. Thor, OG Thor would be awesome for this node, for this lane, because he's got those armor breaks, and then he's going to be getting lots of Furies because he has that chance to get a Fury on his attacks, and if they fail, you're going to get the Impatience Fury. So like he'd be good. I think that's about it. I'm trying to look at these other Cosmic champs while I'm watching this fight. A lot of the other ones are pretty much guaranteed to get it based off of their abilities, as far as I can see and remember. But those would be some good options. But you got like people like Medusa or Corvus or Angela, Silver Surfer, Venom. Those guys, their buffs, when they're triggered, they're guaranteed. You know when they're going to happen, and they can't be turned off, at least because they don't have it. There's no extra nodes to like reduce your chance of your buffs getting triggered or whatnot. So they won't get that Impatience Fury stuff activated. So again, I think I really would focus on like Hyperion, if Thor, if you have him ranked up and awakened, Gamora, original Captain Marvel. I think the Miss Marvel one too, maybe. And I think, I'm not sure about Kamala Khan, how her Furies work. I don't have her. I don't even think I have her as a 5-star or a 6-star. But they would be and then Ronan, they'd be good options because they have the randomness of getting their Furies or their buffs. So we're getting close to finishing this guy off, and had I not messed up, I definitely would have been able to take this guy down. But man, those passive, not passive, but those heal blocks, getting rid of my my healing kind of hurt. We're going in for some intercepts, and then I should have kept throwing a combo there, and I stopped, and I threw a special one into the block, and it killed me. So I think we go back in. I think we just kind of tap this guy over with Hyperion. Yeah, Hype's really, really good for this lane, just because of all the Furies he can get. And then just be mindful of that destructive feedback. You know, if you're going to hit somebody, and if you're just used to like getting blocks and parries in to get your openings, just make sure that that's turned off. Or if you happen to start doing some damage, just kind of back off, manage their power bar. Yeah, so there he goes. Now for this Killmonger, it's the last fight of the lane. I brought Annihilus for this one, and Annihilus is I think his Furies are not random. It's based on his obliterate. Yeah, the obliterated, those little hand debuffs getting removed through a dash back, and it's pretty much guaranteed. So you're not going to see any Impatience node Furies on this. And then with Killmonger, you know, you can fully evade out of his L1. I'm gonna try to push him to L2s. I do have just trying to keep him armor broke as much as possible, so I don't have to deal with the reverb. And yeah, Annihilus, he's just a really decent counter for Killmonger in general because he can pretty much keep a constant armor break debuff on him and get rid of the reverb. And if he has the armor break up, he doesn't get those indestructibles or the unstoppable passives from his special 1 and 2s. And Killmonger, he can do that shallow dash back evade. I don't know if I've been doing that in this fight. Pretty much just been using parry, but you can do that to get your openings as well. He has that shallow attack where you can dash back when he dashes in and then counter with a light attack to get some openings. But yeah, so far this fight's going pretty well. I think I'm trying to think if I get a hit on this fight at all towards the end. I think I might take some damage. Definitely a long fight. Annihilus isn't like the biggest hitting, most damaging champion there is. But he gets the job done. He's pretty reliable for Killmonger for sure. And see, like here, so I did some damage, and I'm just gonna wait out that destructive feedback because I just don't want to get hit, push him to L1, miss time that evade, because even if you block one of those daggers that he throws at you, you're gonna take a bunch of the damage that you've already dealt back to you. And yeah, so we're gonna try to push him to L2. We do. It's easy to get out of range of that without getting hit. Just keep countering on him. So far so good. This is a 6-star, so I do get that passive 6-star Adrenaline Fury. I get the Cosmic Wrath Fury, so that's making this Annihilus, he's a rank 2, making him hit a little bit harder than normal. And this one I'm just going to wait out, just because I felt like I was going to could push him to L1, and then if I got hit, I didn't want to take any of that damage back. Destructive feedback's gone. Hit him with an L2, and I think this is gonna, nope, doesn't kill him. L1, does it kill him? Nope. And we're gonna finish him off. Ooh, no, we don't finish him off before that destructive feedback. So now we're just gonna do a little dance around. Get an intercept because I felt like I was going to get cornered there, and we take him out. So we get the solo. I actually didn't get hit. Very minimal damage just from like blocking and stuff. And then we're going up to this Ice Phoenix. This is the second time. The first time I failed with Human Torch. That was basically my counter for this. So we're going to swap out Human Torch again. And super nice, even though Hyperion was like half health. When you swap them out, you come in with the full health champion. So I'm going to get the Adrenaline Rush for the 6-star. So I'm going to get that Fury. I'm going to activate my Nova Flame. Just backing out, making sure it looks like it activated. I've had issues with Nova Flame not getting activated. It's got Power Axis 1, Power Buildup, Power Overflow. So you can get a lot of Furies, or not Furies, a lot of prowess when she gets over L2, then the encroaching stun. So Torch can do this fight. I messed up on my first round, but we're gonna get the solo this time, and we're just going to try to keep an eye on that encroaching stun and play somewhat passive. To make sure that I can, or it really depends on where your power bar is at and where their power bar is at, but you know, sometimes just slow some stuff down when that encroaching stun is coming up. So like here I'm like backing off, and then finally we get the L1 off just in time. The first one it seemed like I was almost gonna get stunned from throwing it off too early. But the Nova Flames, you know, I'm not worried about my temperature. I could be doing a lot of heavies, but I'm just gonna be doing a lot of medium, light, mediums, and then when it comes close to the timer, extend it out. And man, like that one was super close. Like I thought I was definitely gonna get stunned on that, but somehow it still registered that it was good enough. So now she's getting some prowess because I pushed her to L2, and she's not throwing any specials. There we go, she throws that. So now she's got some prowess. Not that big of a deal. I mean, as long as you're not getting hit with a special, no big deal. And every time she's throwing these specials, got those Nova Stings, Nova Flames doing their work. But definitely need your Torch pre-fight, because if you don't have your pre-fight, she's going to be immune to those regular incinerates. And I mean, he can still do it. It's just going to be so much longer. Yeah, so we're doing pretty well. One thing that I could have done, if I felt a little more comfortable, like with the damage, taking the damage, is I could be blocking her L1s, because they aren't unblockable, and it's going to build up my smolder, which I'm not really dealing with. But I mean, she's thrown, I don't know, maybe a dozen L1s, and if I parry and block those, I might be able to build up some temperature and some smolders, and it would have made this fight significantly faster. Instead of getting like 200 per tick on those Novas, you know, by now it could have been maybe in the thousands. But regardless, manage the encroaching stun, we get the solo, clear the lane, and yeah, so that was a pretty clear, clean path. Only lost Angela on the Punisher 2099, and collect our rewards, and we're gonna get out. Thanks for watching, fellas, and I'll see you guys in the next one.